Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How was your weekend, everyone? Did you all have a good weekend? I was able to get some rest, thank goodness, because all the running around. And now this week, I'm winding down, not making a lot of appointments this week, and trying to take care of some paperwork, etc., and so forth. Mondays, Mondays is like it seemed like the weekend goes so fast, and before you know it, Monday is here and back to work. Seems like every year the time is slipping away even more and more so. But I hope everyone is doing well, everything is going good, and that you're taking in these messages. Take what resonates with you and see if it works in your own situations, especially if those situations are um, similar to what I am discussing. Because on a daily basis, I discuss different things, but it all leads up to healing and, about having inner peace, grief, pain, inner conflict, trauma. And then, we talk about ways that I personally healed those things. And I'm hoping that these things will help some of you, especially those who are really going through a lot of pain and grief and you feel stuck. So tune in because this is a place where we don't judge. We uplift everyone. We're not here to judge anyone. There's too much of that stuff going on in the world today anyway. And we're here to uplift and encourage others. We all have something and we all have things to work through. So, what I'm here to say today is to never give up on yourself. Keep investing in you. And if people think you are being selfish, that's on them. You have to invest in your physical and mental health. And it doesn't matter who likes what, when, where, whatever. It's not your problem. That's their issues that they have to deal with. And right now, it's important, especially if you are in despair and to the point of where you feel hopelessness, you have to work on this. You have to put yourself first. And that's the topic of discussion today. Put yourself first and keep healing. You know, Never allow anyone to take you off your path to healing, especially the grief and the pain due to loss. And, it fills us with the void when we lose someone that we love so much, whether it's a spouse, a child, God forbid, a parent, a grandparent, a best friend. All those things take a toll on our physical and mental health. And if we don't do anything about it, we could stay stuck and stagnated. And that means that that pain is stuck within us. There's no outlet to getting rid of the pain. That's why I always talk about from a place of my personal experiences and how therapy helps me. That was the starting point. I'm not a therapist. I say this every video because I want people to understand that I'm not a therapist. I don't have a certification as a social worker or any degrees in that category. I am someone who went through so much hell and grief and pain that I had to find ways to get through it and to heal. And the outlets that I found to release this pain is what I talk about on this channel. Because some of the things that I'm talking about, perhaps you guys have gone through it. And then I'm talking about ways that help me that are effective, and those ways may perhaps help you as well. It's always important to share because whatever I say or whatever you guys have to say, somebody might be listening and they might need to hear those things so that they can help themselves to heal. The key factor here is to put yourself first. It's an investment. You're not being selfish and you're not, being self-absorbed. You have to take care of your physical and mental health because when you don't do that, then you can't get better. You can't heal. Healing is a process. It's an ongoing thing, and it doesn't matter what others may say. I choose to let them say whatever they need to say and leave them where they are, because this journey of healing is so important to me. Never allow anyone to take you off that path. what I had to learn is to take back my power, not to hand over my power to other people. Because if you do, people like to play God. Some people like to play God in your life, tell you when to get up, when to eat, who you should see, who you should talk to, who you shouldn't talk to. And nobody has a right to do that. But they can only do that if you hand over the power and give it to them. Otherwise, they can't do that. It's just like if you see those movies, those vampire movies, they have to be invited in. They can't just come on in. They have to be invited. And once you invite them in, then you're handing your power to them. And that's how it is in life. And I had to learn that because I was doing that so much in the past. I remember a time where I was in this 10-year relationship, and my son at the time was a minor, and I was out with this person. And it was a nice day. It was probably in October or something because I think we were doing a hayride or something. And you know how you meet people and people are in a good mood. The weather was nice, and it was just really nice. And this woman and her boyfriend was there and nearby, and I said hello, and then we just got into a small conversation. But that happens a lot with me. Even if I'm in a supermarket, I meet someone, they talk and we talk, and I don't know these people. It's just small pleasantries. And that's what happened here. I was being controlled so much by this ex that after I had this conversation with this woman and we walked off and said goodbye, I had an argument about speaking to a stranger. Like, are you kidding me? That's how much my life was being controlled by an ex. And it took a lot to heal that because I was so used to being subservient, to people, whether it was family, my own child, and to, you know, people who were in my life as a partner. And it just wasn't right. And I didn't know how to stop until tragedy took place of me losing all these people and then realizing that there was nobody there for me to lift me up, to support me but God. These people were nowhere to be found when I was going through everything. They just left me there. And so I had to learn, and through, when we life is full of lessons, and I had to learn how to take back my power. And I was in a place of being alone but not lonely because I was in meditation all the time, praying to God, having these prayer conversations with him. And I'm telling you, people, as you put forth the effort and you're not out there setting people up for failure, trying to hurt people, trying to premeditate on somebody who's done nothing to you, and you're doing things and you ask God for help. When you take a step, God is going to take 2 and 3 steps. When he see you putting in the work, he will take 2, 3, 4 steps to help you. And I am living proof of that. And I'm telling you guys the truth. Every time I put forth the effort, take a step, God is there to take 2 and 3. And he has shown me this over and over and over again. So I've gotten to the point where the gossip, the lies, the viciousness, I tune that stuff out now because I'm so focused on the healing, what I need to do and nurturing myself and taking care of myself and building up my physical and mental health. And what I've done is took back my power that I have given away for far too long. And people don't like it because, they can't just come in and do whatever. And one of the things that's important, people, when you're on this journey to heal and you get really serious about this and you're very serious about healing, is to establish boundaries, set boundaries, when you're healing, because sometimes you just need to be alone, sometimes to meditate, to be in prayer, listen to music, to take care of yourself, to uplift yourself so you can get through some difficult trials and tribulations, to nurture that inner child that has been scarred and hurt for many things that's happened in your life. And sometimes people just want to be intrusive. That's what I had at first when I was trying to heal this pain of grief, especially losing my mother, my dog, one of my good friends, is that I had to be alone for a while to heal and do things to lift myself up because it was very traumatizing and I was affected tremendously. And people just want to be intrusive, like when somebody want to show up at my door without being invited and without calling and asking. I had to set boundaries. They didn't like if you, and I had to get to the point where I had to tell one person, if you show up at my door again, I'm calling the police and then I'm getting a restraining order. Isn't that ridiculous that that I had to set a boundary to that extreme because they were just stepping and hopping over the boundaries. If you show up at my door again, I'm just 911, and then I'm going to go down to the precinct and get a restraining order, and then you will get locked up. I'm not playing a game here. I don't have to be out of character. I don't have to use a lot of profanity, etc., and so forth. I'm just going to make a point through my actions, because this is why I cut off, block, and delete. Because when people, first I try to set boundaries, and say why those boundaries are important at this particular time. Because I've gone through A, B, C, and D, and I need time alone, and I need to heal. And some people just disregard it like it doesn't mean anything, and that's not okay with me. And I'm very good at, just making that point. Before I wasn't, but through therapy has helped me so much about setting boundaries. My therapist would talk about that all the time, set boundaries, And I would say, there was at one point I was crying, saying they were not listening. They are keep doing it. And he, kept reiterating what was necessary for my healing process. Because healing helps us to move forward with our lives instead of staying in a place of being stuck and stagnated. You know, um, Therapy is the first source of an outlet because as you get to know your therapist and he or she gets to know you, you establish a bond there. And it's all confidential, the information you're sharing with them. And it took me a long time to get there because I don't really trust too many people. And then as the trust was built up, I was able to talk about some very difficult things with my therapist because as I grew up, I lived in a house where what happens in this house stays in this house. And that doesn't help anyone because if something is traumatizing, then you stay scarred. And then all that pain and stuff is stuck within. There's no outlet for it. You need an outlet for that pain to have it, it has to be released so that you can heal, or otherwise it stays there, you know. So that's very important. Um, the other thing here, because I have a few notes, what I also had to learn is limiting toxicity in my life as I stay on a path to heal. Because here people want to bring some drama and negativity at my front door. You're not doing it, or you're getting locked up. That's it. Because I'm not going to be engaging in that. I'm just going to have 911, and then after that, go to the precinct, get a restraining order. Because what's been happening, people were doing this a lot over and over and doing things, and I'm not playing with folks. I don't have to act out of character to get my point across. I'm just going to, like what I do, cut off, block, and delete. In the beginning, it was difficult, but now it gets easier because as I grow and healing, I start to self care and self love. When you love yourself, you know what your worth is and you know what you deserve. And you don't deserve toxicity. You don't deserve abuse. You don't deserve somebody who's going to breadcrumb you. You're giving everything and they're throwing a piece of crumb at you and say, here, this is what they think you deserve. Cut off, block, and delete is what I do. The boundaries being crossed. Girl, sit down, shut up kind of attitude. Cut off, block, and delete. And that's it. And I don't play about that. My healing is everything. Like I said, peace is better than instead of being in pieces, instead of, letting people do whatever they want to you whenever. And I don't do that anymore. And I just have conversations and I'll talk and try to work things out. Let's come to an understanding. I need to establish these boundaries, etc., so forth. And when people keep crossing over and jumping and stepping on them, cut off, block, and delete. And that's it. And there's no reconciling that for me because we're supposed to be adults. And, we've sat at the table, I call the meeting of the minds where we sit and talk about these things, and, vice versa. Okay, what are your boundaries? These are mine. and these are the reasons for it. And if they are like, girl, please, then cut off, block, and delete. There's nothing more to say because I'm not going to allow people to disrespect me, you know. And they're starting to see that, you know. And I don't, you know, I'm unbothered by it once that is done because I know that I've done everything that I could to negotiate this with them. And when people don't respect you, they don't really care about you. And I've learned a lot of this while I was going through the things of grief and loss, and people who I thought had my back that was riding with me was never riding with me. They were just there for their own benefit, what they can get. How does it benefit them? They wasn't being a genuine friend. And now at this point in my life, new beginnings is important to me. Leaving the past where it is, while I move forth on the healing process, and as I grow, that people have, and to learn what to look for, when dealing with people, and even with dating, taking my time, not rushing into something because, oh, this person wants to date me, and rushing. No, taking my time, getting to know that person. Are we on the same page with things? What do we have in common? What are our belief systems? Are they are on the same page with that? And how much do we have in common? And what is the support system there? What are they giving to the relationship? Because a relationship to me is supposed to enhance my life, not bring hell and toxicity to it. Everybody has their weakness, and including myself, but I'm talking about toxicity of abuse, whether it's verbal or otherwise, and it goes on and on. In the beginning, there's signs of certain things, and I used to overlook those signs, because I just was happy to, get to know this person. But now I look at those things, and I'm not talking about one isolated situation. I'm talking about huge red flags where I have to say, okay, this is not for me because I already see where this is going to go. Whether that's a relationship or just friendship in general. I've learned these things, and it took me a long time to learn these lessons, people, because I was riding that wheel, going around and around and around, different people, same circumstances. But each time that wheel spin, the circumstance was worse and worse and worse until I learned the lesson. And then now I can jump off this ride, because I see it for what it is, because I rode the wheel too long, And so now what I want to tell you guys, that as you continue to put yourself first and you begin to heal things, those hurts and pains, you start to love on yourself. And then you start the self-care. When you love on yourself, you know your self-worth, and you know that you're not going to just put up with anything disrespect. You deserve more than that, and it's important to set boundaries while you're going through this healing process, and never allow anyone to distract you or take you off that path just because they don't like the changes that they see within you. We're supposed to change as we grow and learn to do better in our lives. And then one day you can be an example to someone else who might be going through something that you currently went through already. You can help other people, pay it forward. And that's what's important, paying it forward, helping others to grow and evolve as well. And also, please, anyone, whatever state you live in, please start by connecting with a therapist, a grief um, therapist who can help you. That's a starting point, and then grief bereavement groups, because you're going to hear stories from other people who are just grieving just as much as you may be grieving, and they may have something or say something that you can apply in your own life that will help you with your current circumstances and situation. So that is the message today. Please tell other people about this channel, and even if they hear something that will encourage them and uplift them, that's a key factor here. And I'm here Monday through Friday. I'm not here on the weekends as of yet. And please hit that subscribe button, and that will let you know when I'm here, because I can't give a time. I can't guarantee a time every day. Thank you all for being here. I'm always here to uplift and to encourage. You guys have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, always shedding love and light. Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.